I've just over the years figured out there's about really 8 important or critical steps to the successful home selling process. And, it really starts, number one, with determining if you really want to sell. There's many factors in determining if you want to sell, if now's the right time to sell, where are you going to move once you do sell your property. So is your family growing, or do you need more home? Are you downsizing? Are you relocating for a new job? Or are you just trying to relocate because you want to get closer to family? So identifying why you are selling is critical to the process, because that can influence your time frame as well as your pricing strategy. Once you've determined that you do want to sell, the next step is to meet with a real estate agent. Of course, you meet with me at Century 21, the Harrelson Group, and basically we need to look at your home, get together, look at your home, learn if there's any improvements that have to be made, and maybe discuss your selling goals. How quickly do you want to sell? When do you want it sold? And how much money are you hoping to get when it's all said and done? So, sitting down together and just getting a good understanding of what your goals are is going to be critical before you make that move and put it on the market. Now, once we've met and we have a strategy, we have some ideas of why you're selling, then now it's time to really determine the selling price. A Century 21 agent will work with you to build a complete selling plan. We'll provide valuable information on the current market activity, as well as listen to any specific needs you may have. Together we'll look at the market data and determine the right listing price, as well as discuss what the expected selling price can be. A lot of times there'll be a listing price, and that's your listing strategy, what you're going to hit the market at. And then, of course, there's the selling price, is what we anticipate it will sell for after any negotiation. So we want to talk about that all on the front end. The goal, of course, is to get you top dollar and do that within a time frame that you wish. Once we've determined a selling price, now it's time to get your home ready. This is the time where you want to kind of look at everything from the buyer's eyes, walk through the house, or we'll walk through it together. And maybe there's some things that we feel like we need to remove. Maybe there's a little bit of clutter. And your house could be in great condition, but maybe you have some collectibles. Maybe you collect windmills or statues of windmills, and you've got 1,000 of them throughout the house. Maybe we have to remove a couple hundred of them, and just to kind of declutter a little bit, maybe clean out some of the closets. If you have a lot of Christmas ornaments stacked on the floor in one of your closets, maybe we move those to the attic just to make your house a little bit more presentable. And we also want to walk out to the road and look at the house from the curb, because the first thing that a buyer is going to see when they're looking at your house is going to be the exterior. So we kind of want to look at it again from the eyes of the buyer to see if there's any improvements that we can make, and in order to make your property more appealing and attract that offer from the qualified buyer. Then after we've got your property into the condition that we think it needs to be in, now it's time to start the marketing plan. And there's so many things that we can do to market your property. Now, a lot of them have to do with, of course, the time frame that you want to take to sell, because the quicker you want to sell, maybe the more aggressive we have to be on the marketing. But we'll go ahead and take professional photography. In most cases, we take some really nice video of the property. We want to present it to the internet, because the first showing you're ever going to have on your home is going to be a virtual showing. People ask me all the time, do you do open houses? And the answer is, sometimes we will do open houses, but the reality is that your house is going to be held open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, virtually on the internet. So we want to make sure that we pay an extra special attention to photography and video to present your property in the best light possible on the internet. So those are just a few of the strategies that we're going to be talking about from a marketing standpoint, and trust me, there's a dozen more strategies that we'll discuss. Once we have a pricing plan and a marketing plan and we've got it on the market, this is where we're going to start setting up showings, and eventually we're going to have offers and we're going to have to negotiate. And when I say have to negotiate, what I really mean is we're going to have to look at the offers, come back to the kitchen table with each other and look at what you're looking to accomplish, and look at that offer and see if it matches. And if it doesn't really help you accomplish what you're looking to accomplish, then we'll go ahead and make a counter offer and present back to the buyer our suggestions as what we'd be willing to do. in order to compromise to get the home sold. Of course, we start off with your goals, and we do everything we can to negotiate the deal that's going to match those goals. And then if anything changes throughout the process, then we can always make some adjustments. And it's common for someone to make an offer in the beginning at a fair market price. We don't have a lot of low balls, even though they do come in every once in a while. So assuming it's a good offer and they do not offer full price, we'll look at what we have to do, but we'll always remember what your goals are. And if the offer's not right, then we can always reject it. Once we have an offer that we've agreed to, now it's time to go through the closing process. So as soon as we agree in writing with a buyer, we'll begin that process. Our closing department will work closely with us, and we're going to look at the specifics of the contract. We'll coordinate home inspections, any financing that has to be done with the buyer. We'll kind of coordinate that, stay in the loop to make sure it gets done. Insurance companies, home warranty companies, all of these people are involved in the closing process. The good thing is we do have a closing department that represents you. Basically, we have a team that we put in place to make sure the process runs smoothly and that we can navigate through this process. And at the end of the day, we want it to be a successful and enjoyable process for you. And then the last step in the process is closing day. I mean, this is the fun part. This is where, we go to the attorney's office. You bring the keys with you, and we turn over the keys. Once all the documents are signed, we turn over the keys to the next buyer, and you get to move on to your plans. I mean, this is the fun time. There's not a lot for you to do on this day. There's a lot of paperwork that the buyer is going to have to sign at this moment. You're going to have to sign, minimal amount of documents, but the main thing that you're going to do is we're going to look at the HUD statement. This is the statement the attorney shows us that has all the fees that have to be paid, and it really shares with you what you're going to get, what your net is. So we're going to pay really good attention to the financial forms that we're going to be presented to make sure that everything's done correctly and you walk away at the closing table with the amount of money that you expected. And then from that standpoint, you'll be off and moved on to your next property and reaching the goals, whatever those goals might be for you. So that's the selling process. It's not too difficult. Basically, it starts with determining you want to sell, meeting with me, sitting down together, us determining a selling price and a pricing strategy. Then, of course, you get your home ready for sale. We start marketing it. We get offers. We go to closing. We go through the closing process. We get to the closing table. You sign some simple documents, and you're on your merry way. So one of the things that you can count on with me or from me is you can count on me to be transparent with you throughout this whole process. You can count on me to make sure that you have the information necessary to make sound financial decisions. And you can also count on me to be there after the transaction. If you have any questions or concerns, you can always communicate with myself and my staff, and we'll always get those questions answered for you. If I don't have the answer direct, then we'll get off the phone, we'll get to work on finding that answer, and we'll be back in communication with you immediately.